Welcome to Michigan Reimagined, presented by T.A. Forsberg and Wagoner Financial. And here's your host, Chris Buck.
So having the right marketing agency guiding your entity can make or break your ability to achieve your mission. It's easy to be a leader and become antiquated quickly. So here to share how Güd Marketing serves their clients by using the most up-to-date technologies are its principal and president, Debbie Horak, and the director of special projects, Joel Newport, joining us here today. Welcome, Debbie and Joel.
Thank you so much, Chris.
Appreciate you being here. So, Deb, why don't you kick us off and just give our listeners a little bit of background on Güd Marketing. What's your mission? What services do you provide? Who tend to be your clients?
All right. Thank you. Well, it's wonderful to be back here talking to you, Chris, and I appreciate the opportunity. So Güd Marketing's been around for over 40 plus years, but we are a mission-driven organization and really passionate about impacting communities and people in a positive way. So all of our work is really focused more on social issues.
Okay.
Advancing the public good in some way. So we have 49 different individuals with different marketing disciplines and expertise and experience that they bring to the table, from marketing research and strategy and branding and messaging and digital and social. I mean, gosh, there's so many things, right?
You've built quite a troop over there, no question.
Yeah, but all with the single purpose of impacting the greater good.
Right. And positive societal change, I think, is the phrase that I've read a couple of places on your collateral.
Yes.
Has that always been the plan, or was that a downshift?
No, I have been fortunate to be with the agency for 30 plus years, but the founder, Dennis Pace, was more an opportunist and a true marketer and entrepreneur, but did a lot in the early days with General Motors and manufacturing and selling things, right?
Yep.
Marketing helps you do that. But it wasn't till after he retired that we formally rebranded and became Güd Marketing, and really aligning more my passion and values of the business with our brand.
Right. Okay. And you hit a decade of doing good. I know that was a broadcast, right? And is that 10 years? Is that the rebranding? Is that what the 10 years stands for?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, this was exciting. So we've been living, really aligning our business to our values for the past 10 years. And so we're kind of celebrating that as a decade of doing good in all the communities that we serve across the state of Michigan and out of Michigan as well.
Got it.
So it's been really exciting. But I think what we're doing as we look ahead, we understand that all business has to evolve, right?
Yep. Yeah.
And so we are really looking at AI and how we need to evolve the agency in embracing AI, and how do we use it responsibly to help our clients achieve what they still need to achieve.
Right.
So that's why I brought Joel along with me.
Well, let's turn it over to Joel. So Joel, your role is Director of Special Projects. What exactly does that mean?
What exactly does that mean? Yeah. Well, it's interesting because we finally came up with a title that sort of reflects what I've been doing for the past several years at Güd. And one of the things is that I have a natural curiosity of things and how to improve the agency, how to improve outcomes for our clients, how to improve actually messaging to the people we're trying to reach. And that curiosity puts me in different positions. So, sometimes I'm working on a creative campaign idea, sometimes it's on a video, sometimes it's on something else, but it was a natural fit to start looking into AI and how AI is impacting the marketing industry, and became probably the biggest special project that I'm working on, because there are literally thousands of marketing AI platforms, and it's important to know what to use, which one to use, how to use them, and what's going to work for your agency.
Got it. Okay. And you say that's just kind of natural curiosity, or are you a tech guy, or how's that?
He's a tech guy.
I'm a tech enthusiast. What I say is I'm not afraid of technology, which then leads to a natural curiosity of it. So I don't have a formal training. I didn't go to school for like computer science or anything like that. I worked in production and in audio and video for several years, but there's a lot of technology in that.
Right.
And that was a natural bridge into computer work, computer editing, computer things, and then learning how to use the, different digital platforms to improve workflows and that sort of thing.
Okay. So, How early did you get on the scene with that? I mean, AI has been, out there, and it does seem like the dam has burst maybe 6 months or a year ago from it being just this cryptic, weird thing down the hall that's dark, and now all of a sudden it's, if you're not using it, you're behind, kind of a thing. But when did you start leaning into this?
Well, I like to tell people we've been using AI since the 1950s. We just didn't call it that.
Okay.
So it's been around for a long time. Well, the biggest reason why it's exploded over the last couple of years is we figured out how to talk to computers with our own language. So before we needed the interpreter, which was the computer scientist, the programmer, the coder. Now people can talk directly to their computer just using the English language, and the computer can talk back. And that is why now all of a sudden, AI is everywhere. And I would say I started at least 2 years ago, if not even a little bit more, doing the exploration. Very much early into ChatGPT and the other LLMs that came out, and been going hard ever since.
Fantastic. Well, I want to give a tip of the cap to our friends at Wagoner Financial. Are you ready to make smart financial decisions? Wagoner Financial offers a proven process for financial transformation, empowering individuals at all stages, whether you're just starting out, nearing retirement, or anywhere in between. Stop feeling unsure about your financial path. Wagoner Financial can help you undergo this financial transformation. Schedule a consultation today to discuss your individual needs by visiting wagoner-financial.com or give them a call at 517-853-3367. So natural curiosity gets you towards the AI stuff. What was the bridge that made you think that AI, or how would you incorporate AI into your day-to-day work as a branding and ad agency? Like, where did you think the natural places for that to land would be?
Well, I think when we first started, the low-hanging fruit was efficiencies, right? Where can we build efficiencies in the agency? Where can we do things, faster, better? Where can we increase capacity for our employees? Or where can employees automate things that they don't enjoy doing so they can focus more time on the things that they do enjoy doing, or focus more time on the things that benefit our clients? But I think that was early on.
Okay.
And a little short-sighted in the sense that it can do so much more. And I think the way we are approaching AI now is what do we know that we don't, what don't we know that we don't know? What's out there?
Right.
How are we going to utilize, what are ways that we're going to utilize AI, not just to do the systems that we have, but what are the doors that are going to open for the things that we've never been able to do or couldn't do until we have this? How do we build capacities in other areas? And all of that leading to improving outcomes, for our clients, as well as improving work, for our employees.
Right. So I can see that, like, the speed, the efficiencies and the way for people to get there. Would you say that it results in like a better quality outcome? Or is it just help you get to that same outcome just a lot faster and more efficient, and therefore it's just
I think it's
better?
Both.
Okay.
I think it's both. I think it can increase you can increase the speed to get to an outcome that faster, but I think it also, we use AI as a partner, as a creative partner, as a thinking partner, as an assistant, not as the doer. Right? So you interact with your AI and you push it. You have to push the AI just like the AI is supposed to push you. It's a back and forth. Too many people put in a prompt and then they're like, oh, I don't like the output, AI is dumb, and then they move on. Really, it's a back and forth, and the more that you push it, the more that you work with it, the more that it learns. Then it learns about you and it learns about your business, and it can provide you with better output. So I think ultimately output is better because it gives us things that we didn't know faster, and it allows us. And even if some of the, AI also says a lot of dumb things, and so you have to have that human there to decide. Okay, of these 9 things that this thing is talking about, really only these 2 matter to my client. Only these 2 matter to my to the message, right? So you have to guide it that way. But ultimately, it's about using this technology to make a better product, not just a faster product.
Right. Okay. And did you learn this by trial and error, or are there like consultants that can come out and get you kind of pushed in the right direction, or what's the best way how did you do it? And then what would you recommend now that you're where you are?
That answer is just yes. It's all of those things.
Okay.
First and foremost, you just jump in, you just do it. There's no right way or wrong way to do it.
Experiment with it.
You just experiment. You just jump in. You're like, okay, what's this ChatGPT thing all about? And you have to kind of get over. There's just this little hump that you have to get over of whether it's fear. That might be a strong word, but like just a resistance, to doing it. But once you start using it and make it a habit, it really becomes a part of your everyday. Like ChatGPT just sits open on my computer. It is my full-time assistant that I just ask questions to, get ideas from and that sort of thing. It helps me build other things. And it's just something that I can't imagine now working without it, right? Doesn't mean that I don't have those human interactions with all the people in the agency as well. It just means that the things that I would have to do or things that would take up a lot of my time, I can do a little bit faster now with that.
Right.
But he really helped the business, like different areas of the business. There were different tools that were probably a better fit. And that is where I think Joel has really helped us. So the writers might be using like Jasper or certain different AI tools than another group. So like the creative folks and the designers playing with Firefly and other creative AI tools. So
yeah, there's so many out there, and we try to keep the ones that work within our existing ecosystem so that we don't have to change too much. But every discipline does have a specific tool that's probably, rises to the top, but they change every month or every week or, so there is that too, right?
Yeah.
But one of the areas I think that have been really exciting, because sure, you hear a lot about creative and that, but there's still a lot of copyright issues. There's still a lot of unanswered questions in that area, right? But in media, the AI tools for understanding your audience and personas, it's incredible. I mean, we have a system that we use that analyzes over 30 billion customer interactions a day, and it feeds it into the AI. We can look at audience segments and learn.
I know, this is crazy.
Crazy. Not only, and it's not like it can be creepy, but it's also exciting from a marketing standpoint. It's like, okay, I can find that person who likes these, I know how many people shop at Meijer and how many people, and what the biggest products are and what their television shows are and what their entertainment habits are. So we know where we need to be. And we can watch it over time. We can watch it. It changes over time. We can watch it evolve because new data gets fed in every day. We can almost get ahead of a trend simply by looking at the daily data as our audiences shift and change based on things, happening in the world.
So now, where does that come from? I mean, do you subscribe to something that's giving you some of that analytics, or did you build that yourself and you're following this herd?
I wish we built it. That would have been a good,
one.
Business.
No, it is a specific subscription tool for media. Most AI platforms are that, right?
Yeah, sure.
And that's one of the hardest things for companies is, we have 50 people and I have 3 people that want this tool. I have 2 people that want this tool, and they all come with a monthly fee, right?
Right.
So it is one of the reasons
of Joel's job
that I am there is to help filter through that and say, no, we can do this with this tool, and we don't have to buy 6 tools, right? Yep. And because you can get monthly fee crazy. Like you can just, it sounds great to just keep adding on all these things, but then all of a sudden it's like, where am I spending all this money on these tools, right? Yeah. So you do have to have somebody who's sort of looking at that. So we want to move quickly, but we also want to move smart.
So I want to talk about some of the dangers or missteps or mistakes that can be made with AI that, as you've experienced, maybe you don't want to share too much. Clients say, and it really blew up in our face. But I've also been cautioned about intellectual property.
Yeah.
Yep.
Right. That these domain, you're using all these different tools, and it's like, well, where's the firewall on them not stealing your ideas or sharing it or selling it or whatever? Have you experienced any of that, or are you? So what's the workaround for that?
One thing is we are actually creating our own product that will be used in-house, that will be just a good marketing product, that will not share data with ChatGPT,
Right.
OpenAI or Anthropic or any of the other large companies. But that's going to take some time. From a copyright standpoint and that, or from our work standpoint, really what you have to be careful of is just trusting AI 100%. The biggest thing is that AI makes mistakes. And it makes mistakes in such unique ways. Like it will, because it works. Large language models are basically just large pattern machines. They recognize patterns, and that's how they interpret what you're saying and the response that they give you. And if there's something in the way that you say it that makes that pattern just a little bit wonky, it might come back with an answer that's less than accurate. Or AIs also want to provide an answer. They are programmed to provide an answer.
You.
They want to please you, right? So very rarely
so
will you get an AI that says, I don't know. It would rather make something up to make you happy, which is called a hallucination, than to give you the I don't know answer. So you have to be really careful. There was a legal case in California where the lawyers used AI to find other cases. And it was discovered during the trial that some of the cases and the citations were completely made up. And that's because...
that Terrell versus the state of Arizona.
Yeah, right, exactly.
Didn't even exist.
And I think that's an important part, is that human needs to be a part of it. They have to be a part of it.
Right. Yeah. I heard at a presentation, it's probably 2 or 3 years ago. So this was all really riveting, like an economic club type of a forum.
Yeah.
And I thought the best way that this speaker put it, he's just like, it's like having a never-ending sea of interns.
Yeah.
They'll get you 80% of the way there, but you better proofread that stuff, because it's gonna, but it's better than staring at a cursor flashing on a blank screen.
True.
You can give it some prompts, get something that you then need to go in and proof and edit and audit and make it your own work.
Well, and I would say now it's like having an unlimited amount of interns that all have master's degrees, and eventually it'll be having a bunch of interns that all have PhDs. So AI is not going to get dumber. Right. We are using the worst version of AI right now. We're using every day, right? So it's only going to get better. And and when you hear about those mistakes, they are a very small subset from a usage standpoint.
Right.
Just they tend to come up when it matters most, and that's where if it only gives you a mistake 1% of the time, you can Murphy's Law says it's going to happen when it's the most important project.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, I want to give a shout out to my friends at Triterra. Triterra is a well-respected environmental consulting firm headquartered in Lansing, Michigan, with staff around the state to serve your brownfield development, environmental consulting, and natural resource management needs. Since 2008, Triterra has been successfully assisting a wide range of clients by implementing effective solutions to complex environmental challenges. If you're a developer, a property owner, a business, a lending institution, an attorney, or a governmental entity looking for a creative solution and want prompt and timely service, contact my friends at Triterra. Led by CEO and visionary Don McNabb, leaders JP Buckingham and Dave Van Haren, and their dozens of technical experts in the field, you can't miss by calling Triterra at 517-702-0470 or check them out at triterra.us. So future trends. You talk about we're always using the dumbest form of AI because it gets better every day. But I wanted to prompt you on conversations around agents. Yep. And I'm not sure what that is or what that means. So I'm really looking forward to learning, as our listeners will.
So appropriate with Mission Impossible right now.
Yeah, right?
Sorry.
No, it's fine.
It's a different type of agent.
So agents, well, it's kind of. Agents are AIs that that can do tasks on your behalf. Okay. So it's taking AI to that next step of being able to do things for you. So the simplest way you can think of it is you use an agent to book a trip.
Okay.
All right. So you can tell your AI, I'm going to New York on the July 4th weekend. Handle it. The AI will go out. It will find you the flight. It might even know your preferences and automatically know that you like an aisle seat as opposed to a window seat, or that you want more leg room in my case, so that you'll want to be in at least business class or an exit row, something like that. It'll already know that about you. And it will find the best deal. It will book your car. It will find your hotel and everything, and basically just come back and say, done. And so if you think about that's something that's already happening, can happen now, agents are going to fundamentally change how we do business and how we do work with the internet. So what's happening now, more and more people are using voice search, and more people are taking a more agentic approach to using the web. What that means for clients, what that means for people is humans aren't going to go to your website anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
At the end of the day, you're just going to tell your phone. You're just going to ask ChatGPT. You're just going to say, "Find me this information." ChatGPT is just going to tell you the information, and you're not going to really care where it came from. You're not going to dive any deeper because you got the information. So what's happening is the agent goes to the website. There's going to probably be an agent on the website side. They're going to have a conversation. "Hey, my human wants to know these things. Can you give me these things?" It's going to say yes or no. It'll give him, come back, and it's done. But it really is going to change like how using like website traffic as a metric for marketing is probably, I mean, I'm envisioning it actually going away as a KPI completely, but maybe not completely. I mean, there are still people who will always want to do their own research and go and do their own things. But for the most part, for those easy things, and when you look at what we do in where we're not really even selling a product, we just want somebody to know information. Well, if somebody learns something, we sure as heck like to get credit for it.
Right.
But if we don't know, because there are no measurement for AIs going to websites. There's no way for me to track that, for me to tell my client, ChatGPT answered this question with your information 600 times.
Right.
I don't know that information.
So they need to look at their own just results, whether it's growth or participation or whatever, and just assume that your work on their behalf has helped.
Unless they share data.
Well, there's that. Yeah. I mean, it's
Which could come. Who knows?
I think as more voice search becomes the thing, I think they will find a way. They will find a way to monetize it. They will find a way to make money from marketers like us who need to reach people, and then they will then have to include metrics in it. So I imagine that will come as a natural evolution of the capitalist marketplace. But right now, I have no idea when somebody, we work with, like Michigan Reconnect, for example, and if somebody asks about the program, I have no idea if the AI is pulling it from the state of Michigan's website, from our campaign website, from other information, from a press release that we did, who knows where it's coming from, because it just gives you an answer. Now it will give you sources if you want, but most people aren't going to take that step. They're going to just take the answer and go.
Right.
But one of the most important things as marketers is really knowing that it's a new audience that we have to talk to and communicate with. Our agents. And it's something that people like, what? Like we keep talking to our clients about this, that they are a new audience because they're working on behalf of the audiences you're trying to reach.
Right.
So
you have to befriend them and engage them and be attractive to them and be the place they choose to
So it is a different communication that we have to construct. So
you
consider.
You have to build your digital whether it's your website or your digital presence to be both human readable and machine readable, so that you can accommodate both visitors.
Got it.
Yes.
I feel like I'm in the Matrix. Not sure where I am.
I know.
That's just so crazy.
Isn't it? I know. It's
good for you.
Yeah. It's something that we have been talking about a lot. So we're dreaming a lot right now too, and kind of what it will be like. So yeah.
And like you said, it's not going to change. It's not going to get slower.
No.
It's not. We're not going back.
No.
So you need to embrace
Can't
this.
ignore it.
And so while this is, arguably a pretty heady topic, and I'm a little lost as an older guy with a gray beard, I can tell you, I would feel good using your services. Not to be a shameless plug, right? But I mean,
I know it's hard to navigate.
I'd be curious as to whether your peers and competitors or whatever would be able to speak as eloquently about how you're swimming in that pool that needs to be swum in. Because you can, like I said in my intro, I said it's easy to be a leader and to become antiquated without even really knowing it.
Yeah.
Right? So if your radar's not up and say, oh, I'm going to get around to that, this AI stuff is a little daunting, so we'll wait until the intern gets here. This 21-year-old will go knock that out for us.
And look at Joel.
You're probably fine, right?
Yeah. The beard is gray as well.
Yeah.
One of the things that I think that, why older people should be interested in AI and embrace it is the fact that we have the relevant context that can help make AI more powerful. So the younger people that come in who may have only worked for the agency for a year or two, they don't have the 30 years of agency background that Deb has, or the 14 plus that I have, because even though I've only been at Güd for 11 years, I've worked with Güd as a vendor, so I'm very familiar with their catalog of work, and so having that knowledge actually helps make your AI stronger, because whenever you can give AI context, it performs better for you.
Right.
As opposed to just using its generic information.
Right on. Fantastic. Well, how can people learn more? I mean, if they're impressed by this and they're trying to figure out where they want to go for their advertising and branding, and marketing work, how do people get in touch with Güd?
Yeah. Well, our website right now is the right place. So Güd Marketing, GUD, marketing.com. To learn more about us.
Wonderful. And you have social handles, I would imagine, out there. If you just look for Güd, there's not a lot of goods you're going to trip over out there. So GUD
That's
Marketing.
Right.
That's fantastic. Well, I really appreciate you joining me. We've been talking to the principal and president, Debbie Horak, and the director of special projects, Joel Newport. I'm blown away, impressed, and scared to death about everything I just heard.
Don't be.
Not scared to death. I'm grateful that someone's out there figuring all this stuff out, because I am not. So thank you for joining me.
Yep. Thank you.
And I want to give a final shout out to all of our loyal sponsors: Forsberg Real Estate, Wagoner Financial, Triterra Environmental, Keller Williams Advantage and Team, Michigan Rise, and the attorneys at Foster Swift. All fantastic people who are worth the call. And if you found the show as a one-off, I want to remind you to follow and subscribe to Michigan Reimagined on YouTube, Facebook, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio, and pretty much anywhere you find your podcasts. This is Chris Buck signing off from Michigan Reimagined.